more health and wellness. With the kidney diet, I will be talking more extensively. I also have a table out in the lobby, but definitely dietary choices is one way to promote longevity and health awareness. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anthony Zaleski. I'm a physician, nephrologist in the area, and I take care of people on dialysis and kidney transplant, but also I take care of people with hypertension and chronic kidney disease with the goal of education of a group of people where their disease largely doesn't have any symptoms, but the medicine is very effective at controlling blood pressure and reducing the risk of strokes, heart failure, as well as progression of kidney disease. We take care of the whole spectrum of chronic kidney disease to dialysis and preparation for transplant. And I work with Dr. Morawski as well.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm Max Morawski, one of the kidney doctors in the area, and I'm fortunate to be the Mr. Green's kidney doctor. Where's Green? Is he?
He stepped out.
Oh, okay. And well, I was going to, of course, say thank you to him for getting us involved into this program. That's very important. Of course, Mr. Green has dealt with kidney disease for a very long time, and he is one of what we call model patients, right? So he has done everything right. He's done everything right. So I obviously wasn't around when he had his wild days, but when I met Mr. Green, he was already doing everything perfect, and it's paying off. He's doing well with the kidney transplant, and we're very fortunate to be able to help him. In general, 30 million Americans suffer from kidney disease. About 400,000 Americans live on dialysis, where they get dialysis 3 times a week, or they own other types of dialysis, including peritoneal dialysis, where they do it at home. But so 30 million live with the kidney disease. There is way more patients who are actually at risk for kidney disease, and many of them do not know about it. So what we're trying to do is raise awareness as far as the risk factors of kidney disease: diabetes, high blood pressure, family history of kidney disease is extremely important, actually. People who have first-degree relative who has a kidney disease or is on dialysis, about 10 times, those people have about 10 times higher chance of getting kidney disease themselves compared to the general population. African Americans are about 3 to 4 times more likely to have kidney disease compared to whites, and Hispanic Americans and Native Americans are also affected by kidney disease more than Caucasians. Again, we'll answer the question as far as what people can do to reduce the chance of kidney disease, and know your risk factors early. That's what's crucial, and that's what we want to emphasize that. But we'll be available to answer questions. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Cordero Dye. I'm the marketing specialist for the Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute. We are the cancer treatment facility that was founded by Hampton University President Dr. William R. Harvey. So my role at the Institute is external communications as well as community outreach. So we're just here today to share information on the Institute, just make sure that people know their options when it comes to treating cancer. Cancer is now the #1 killer in 22 U.S. states, Virginia included. So here at the Institute, we treat several different types of cancers, kidney cancer being one of them. So we're just here to make sure that people are familiar with this treatment modality, and that they weigh their options when they're faced with this sort of situation, because we know, based upon certain socioeconomic conditions where you fall on the spectrum, a lot of times extraction might be an option that's looked at as opposed to trying to save that particular organ. So we just want to make sure that people know that they have this resource here in Hampton Roads. So proton beam radiation is a non-invasive form of cancer treatment that uses a proton beam, doesn't harm any healthy surrounding tissues, and basically allows the patient to continue to live a healthy quality of life. So here, to share any information that you all need, and we actually have some brochures outside as well, and I'll try to hang around for a little while. People have specific questions related to whether it's kidney disease or just cancer in general, because we all know somebody that's been affected by it. So, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeff Mitchell. I donated a kidney in 2011. I often get asked, how did I do that? How did I come up with the decision to do that? Mine was anonymous, non-directed. I saw reports in the media that there were a need for living kidney donors. So I called the Norfolk General Transplant Center and said I would like to be involved and donate a kidney. I went through approximately 6 months worth of both mental and physical testing. 2 weeks before my surgery, I met with the nephrologist for the first time, and he said, well, you can't do this. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, you're on 2 blood pressure medicines. So I was a little disturbed because they had known that from the beginning, but they said, we've got to look out for your health, which I appreciated after the fact. I didn't appreciate it at the moment because I felt like I'd let somebody down. They'd already matched me. So about a year later, I quit feeling sorry for myself, got in shape, got off one of the blood pressure medicines, got the okay from my doctor, called the transplant center back up, and started the process again. It was a quicker process. I didn't have to go through the mental evaluations. So I did my donation in April of 2011. I had to sign something that said I wouldn't try to find my recipient. I really didn't think I'd want to find my recipient. I thought I would just donate and go on with my life. But during that year, the recipient sent letters to me via the transplant center. So at the year anniversary, they called and said, we've got letters for you. She had written me many letters and cards throughout the year saying how that donation had changed her life. And at that point, I realized that I wasn't just going to walk away from this. This was really changing my life. So the transplant center called and said, do you want to meet your recipient? She wants to meet you. So we met. It was about 13 or 14 months after the surgery. And that was in 2011 at the surgeries. To this day, we talk at least once a week, or once every 2 weeks. It's become a very special part of my life. And we do the kidney walk down the ocean front every year. So if I can do this donation, anyone can. I had this tremendous fear of needles, and to have to go through all that medical stuff twice, I thought I might get over that, but I didn't. But it truly changed my life, got me involved with the Kidney Foundation, the Kidney Walk, and things like that. And I'm now a mentor with the National Kidney Foundation, so there are people that call in and want to talk to someone. They're considering being donors, just to ask questions, and it's all anonymous. So I do that, and just thank you all for being here today and enjoy this.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Lara Malvin, and I am the program coordinator for Donate Like Virginia. We manage the state's registry for organ, eye, and tissue donations. One person can save 8 lives and heal 75 others if they register to become a donor. And it's imperative right now because right now 2,400 Virginians are waiting for that life-saving organ transplant. And of that 2,400, the number 1 group waiting is African Americans, and the number 1 organ in need is kidneys. 22 people die every day because the organ they need is not available in time. So at Donate Like Virginia, we work every day to educate and inform folks about the importance of donation and that it's easy to register. You can do it the next time you're at the DMV, or you can do it online right now at donatelifevirginia.org. It takes less than a minute, and you have the potential to save 8 lives. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Diana Connolly, and thank you so much for coming here today. Being here, most of you probably either know or have known someone with kidney disease. Even if you don't know someone personally, you've probably heard of someone in need recently through social media or the news. A few months ago, most of us probably heard about 17-year-old Miles Gray, an Indian River senior in desperate need of a kidney. And more recently, about 12-year-old Corey Clavin, whose mother was looking for a donor for him. When I was first asked to share my story as a kidney donor, never having been one who likes to be the center of attention, I hesitated. But then I thought, this isn't about me. I am simply a 58-year-old wife of a wonderful, supportive husband and a mother of 4. One of the greatest fears we all face is fear of the unknown. In sharing my story, I'm hoping I can shed light on some of that unknown and empower others who may consider donating a kidney. I'm hoping that some may see me and think, if this 58-year-old mom can do this, I got this. On April 16, 2017, I was attending church services when during the announcements, prayers were requested for Joe and his family. Joe had just found out that he needed triple bypass open heart surgery. I was in shock. This was Joe they were talking about. This was Joe who was sitting 2 rows in front of us with his family. This was Joe who looked so strong and healthy. After services, I asked him if he'd been having chest pains or other symptoms, and he replied that no, doctors discovered his need for surgery during his stress test, which he takes annually due to his kidney disease. Kidney disease? I had no idea Joe had kidney disease. I asked Joe how he felt about his upcoming surgery, and I'll never forget what he said. He said, if it all goes well, that's great. And if not, I get to go home and be with God. And I thought, wow, what an incredible attitude. Joe's main concern was for his wife, Tara. As we left the building, I caught Joe's wife, Tara's attention and asked her about Joe. She told me Joe's story and said she'd been tested as a potential donor, but she wasn't a match. I asked her where and how to start the donor application process, and she gave me the Centera website, adding that Joe would never allow me to donate one of my kidneys to him. And I asked her why. I said, I've got 2 kidneys, and I want to do this. So I hope, if I'm a match, that he'll accept and let me do this. That night, stubborn and determined as I am, I went home and researched kidney donation. I found a wonderful book by Ari Sittner, and it's called The Kidney Donor's Journey, 100 Questions I Asked Before Donating My Kidney. And I read it over the next couple of days. On Monday, I went to the Centera website and filled out the application to donate my kidney to Joe. I underwent initial blood testing and then met with the transplant board, at which time my husband and I found out I was a match. I was thrilled. But we didn't tell our family, and we didn't mention anything to Joe or Tara or their family because I knew I had to undergo a wide range of further testing and successfully pass it before final approval by the board. And the transplant nurse told me that he'd like to see me lose 40 pounds. So over the next 2.5 months, Joe underwent and recovered from open heart surgery, while unbeknownst to him, I went through a series of testing to include continued blood work, EKG, chest x-ray, and a CT scan. I started watching my diet seriously, and I began walking 4.5 to 6 miles every day, often while listening to this great podcast I found called Kidney Talk, which broadcasts motivating interviews with kidney patients on dialysis, kidney transplant recipients, and donors. At the end of June, I received the long-awaited phone call that the board had finished reviewing my results, and I had been approved as a donor. A dear friend of mine and I broke the news to Tara, who shared it with Joe when he got home from work. When Joe found out, his initial reaction was shock, because he had no idea I was undergoing any of this, that I'd even been tested. And after several days of introspection and deliberation, Joe approached me after services. He shared with me his reservations about accepting my kidney. And he asked me, what if his body rejected my kidney? And I told him he had already helped me so much in improving my health. And in accepting my kidney, he was helping me further to improve my health. And if his body did reject my kidney, well, then at least we tried. On 26 September 2017, 35 pounds lighter and in the best shape I've been in decades, I had the honor and privilege of donating one of my kidneys. Some people have asked me if I was ever scared during the testing period leading up to the donation. And I would be lying if I said no fear or hesitation had ever entered my mind. I looked at the facts, though, and I knew that although any surgery had its risks, the success rates for living kidney donors and transplants were great. Risks were minimal, and I wasn't afraid of dying. I was at peace with God, and I knew that when that day comes, when I do die, I'd much rather die trying to help someone than any other way. As far as the actual surgery, I can't imagine a better hospital experience than I had at Centera. The doctors, nurses, and staff took exceptional care of me, even bringing in a roll-away bed for my 20-year-old daughter who had come home from UVA to stay with me at the hospital. Everyone's experience is different, but I came out of surgery feeling great. Yes, there was some discomfort, but it was minimal compared to what I had mentally prepared myself for. It took me a couple of weeks to work back up to walking my 4+ miles a day, and I wasn't allowed to drive for 3 weeks, but other than that, my activities were pretty much back to normal within a couple of days. In life, most of us have things we wish we could go back and do differently, that we wish we could have a do-over. However, I can definitely say, without question, donating my kidney was not one of those. I wouldn't ever want to change that. Not everyone is in a position to donate a kidney, but it was definitely one of the best decisions I've ever made. And it's a decision I'll never regret. Being able to help someone to make a difference in their lives is one of the best feelings in the world, and one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. And I am so thankful to God for creating us in such a way that living donation is possible, and to both God and to Joe for allowing me that opportunity. Thank you.
That's a follow right there. My name is Steve Acid. The name is correct, spelled that way. It is correct, 3-time transplant recipient. One time somebody called me lucky. And I explained to them, I said, if you know what the people who went through did to give me that heart, you wouldn't say that. They had to make a decision to give their loved one's organ away, in a moment of despair. So, I'm blessed. My journey started in 1985. I thought I was in good shape. I played on a travel softball team, had a 32-inch waist. I was in pretty good shape, I thought. I was doing 700 push-ups a night. I thought I was in good shape. I coached my boys in softball and baseball. Had a good job. But I didn't drink. I didn't do drugs. I had a problem with one thing in the 80s. I wasn't loyal to my wife, and I think that's how God stopped me with my heart attack. He got my attention. I was going to church, but he had to get my attention one way, and he stopped me on Astor Road down there, hit the back of a TRT bus. And when I came out of that thing, and I went to Beach General, they said, this man is not going to make it. And I broke our femur in 27 places. I broke every rib in my body. And they didn't know I had a heart attack until they coded it out. And then they had to get back up and they found out I had a heart attack. They brought my two little boys in, they told them I wouldn't make it, my wife and everybody else. But they didn't bring God in. Anyway, I made it through that night, but I was a broken man. My heart was lost 60% of its function. And so I was now on a position where I had a busted up leg, a broken heart, and I had to have a transplant. And back in the 80s, there was a thing called Jarvis, and everybody was dying from that. I didn't know what they were talking about. But I had to have a human transplant. I had to go to Richmond to get on the list. And back then, the guy told me, he's still there. He said, here's the deal, son. You come here, you have a transplant, you have a 50% chance of living 1 year. That's the deal. After that, I can't take it. Otherwise, we'll send you home in a box in about 2 months. That's it. That's how long you got to live. So anyway, I took the deal. I said, okay, I'll sign up for it. What's I'm going to do? It was God's way to get my attention. I tell you that. You know, my church prayed. Churches throughout my family prayed. And on October 9th, my youngest son's birthday, I got that heart. And it served a purpose. You know, it was the doctor came in the morning and said, I got to find your heart today, son, because tomorrow you won't be here. I was weak. Couldn't even raise my head off the bed. That's how weak I was. But I got so heart that night. It lasted almost 3 years. In 1990, I got a second heart over here in Auburn General. And, you know, it's all these steps I went through. The people who donated these organs, not just my heart, but other kidneys, everything, and other organs. These people who they donated them were just so loving and they're so amazing to do this for me and other people. And I met a lot of wonderful people in my tenure doing this. I've been in transplant for 32 years now. And I went to transplant games all over the country, Utah, Minnesota, all over the country, Pittsburgh, Florida. I met a lot of people with kidney transplants, livers, hearts, and they brought in donor families. The donor side, it's great fellowship. But you know, it's so humbling for me to meet the donor side, my families, and meet the people who, you know, decide to give the kidneys and the hearts and everything else, because these people who decide to do this, it's just amazing because I wouldn't be here. I've watched my boys grow up from being 9 to 12 to be 45 and 42. That's a big difference. You know?
Yes.
I mean, we've done a lot of things together. I got 5 grandkids now. Who would have thought I was ever seeing them? But you know, all through this whole process, and the third one I had was in 2014 at Cleveland Clinic. That was the only hospital that would touch me. I'm telling you, that's how it came down to it. Norfolk wouldn't do it; it was too risky. I had a bypass in '96. Yes, I've been cut 3 times now. Only hospital would do it is Cleveland Clinic. They're considered a heart, specialist. You know, so I'm going. The only chance I got to survive is go to Cleveland and have a transplant. I waited 7 years to have it done. I'm waiting by phone. I'm going every 3 months to have test runs. But you know what? God was there the whole time. The whole time.
Yes.
Be patient.
Amen.
Be patient. I got you. I got you, son. I got you. Be patient. What did I learn from it? You know, I've read about it so much more. I've been into it so much more. I just learned, to trust God in all my decisions now. And also to be thankful. Be thankful every day for every gift we get. I'm back to working now. I still help my oldest son coach baseball. I love baseball. Every year we go see the Yankees play in a different ballpark all across the country. Here we go. But last year we went to, last year was Boston. Bad experience anyway, but it's in Boston. They didn't win. No, and here's why I went to Seattle. This year we won in Texas. We just like to go see our team play as replacers. And I went with the Gideons International. We put Bibles in hotels, just go to visit people in jails, and that's how Bibles there. So I stay involved. I worked for the city of Chesapeake. I stay involved because he didn't keep me here alive to be sitting on the couch. No way. I stay involved in my church. He didn't keep me alive to just do totally songs. Do something. So when I was asked to do this, hey, I'm not going to say no to this. I can never turn life and that down or any kind of thing like this because it's not about telling my story. It's about just showing the gratefulness of being able to share what the Lord and the gifts have done. I've got 2 tremendously strong kidneys. When you take these drugs for 32 years that we get today, you got to have some good kidneys. So thank God for my kidneys. They've been beat up for 32 years with some pretty strong transplant drugs, believe me, to keep the heart not rejecting. So I praise God for that. And I praise God that He's given me all this time because, to reflect back on where I was when I was, 85, where I am in 2019, man, what a blessing. Thank you guys for listening.
Before we open it up to the floor to ask questions, let's, how about giving them another round of applause? I tell you what, after hearing some of them stories and some of the knowledge and experiences that were provided up here, I tell you, it's very inspiring. We have actual folks who have made up their mind to donate parts of their body so that others can live. I mean, I'm all about, getting ready to cry about that because that's a very selfless act, and then we have folks up here who are going to talk to you about, on the other side of the coin, preventative, things that you can do now to prevent getting, to that point in life. So let's just, if you haven't already, had a chance to take some notes or something, please ask the panelists, those particular panelists, the questions that you may have, so we can kind of take notes and move forward from there. So, all right? Any questions? Mike will bring the mic around to you. Just raise your hand if you have a question.
Okay, while you all are collecting your thoughts on the questions, because if you're like me, Bernard, and so many other people I've seen kind of had something in their eyes and they were wiping on some
yes.
Allergies. Individual were telling this story. Yeah, the allergy will get to you. And of course, I tell you, I've had my share after being on dialysis for 8 years and then received a kidney from an 8-year-old that the parents made the decision for their loved one to donate their organs. Like Steve mentioned, it's a point that all of a sudden you have a total different outlook on life. You start looking at people different. You start hearing things different. You start growing patience. You start realizing, what can I do for someone else? And there's so many of us that never even thought about that. Here again, I constantly talk about me because I learned my lesson. It was me, 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 me. I had very little patience. I wanted promotion. I wanted a new job. I wanted to be stationed over here. I wanted this. It was always that I thing. And it took me to get on dialysis to realize how many times I said I. There was time that I actually got a surgery. And I would say, I'm doing better. I'm coming around. What about the doctors? Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Dr. Max. I don't know how many times I have avoided saying that. But those are the important things that we have to take, those 2 little words that mean so much to people. There's a lot of people that's in marriage right now. They're working so hard to give their wife what they think she wants. instead of that rose, instead of opening that door, instead of saying, look into my eyes and see how much I love you. We have to take that time out sometime and get rid of that word I. Include others in there, because if you think you're strong enough that you don't need nobody, there's a whole lot of us in here that can tell you different. There's a lot of surgeries that's been going on. There's a lot of people that's been dying because of the lack of knowledge and actually having the ability to actually receive that gift of life. Or those that actually had the courage to actually say, I'm going to donate my kidney. I'm going to help someone else out because they need this to move on. It is heavy. A lot of us don't think that heavy until we get to that point that we have to say, Lord, why me? And if you notice, there is a book that I have on the table out there. It's called Why Not Me? And that's when we start getting those serious thoughts and we start realizing that if we're doing all the things that cause everybody else kidneys to fail, all these other people that actually die from cancer, all these other things, then you would say, why not me? Just by a show of hands, how many of you all, and keep your hands up, have diabetes, and it could be either you or someone in your family. Diabetes, hypertension, gout, obesity, urinary tract infection. Okay. And if you kind of look around, you'll see that's the majority of the individual. Since I've been doing this for 8 years, I also noticed that a lot of people that didn't put their hand up didn't know their family history. Because if you did, they'll find out that risk factors go a little deeper than that as well. How do you prevent that? Get a kidney screening. Don't worry about me and I. Go see someone that knows better. Go out and see the doctor. Talk to your family physician. Because without that kidney screening, you may see a doctor, but it's a little too late. So we talk about the early signs of actually doing that. So what we're going to do before the questions start rolling in, I would like Althea to come up. I think you have a gift that you would like to give away.
I do.
Okay, and if you can come up, tell the people about the gift a little bit.